Super GT has decided to drag Nick and I to a track walk, kicking and screaming. They call us professionals, but track walks are not our thing. Strategy.
Drive fast, don't crash.
What are we doing now?
Right now?
Yes.
Making a video.
All right. Okay, so what we're actually doing is, this is practice now. There's like 35 minutes. Alvarez, the pro, Super GT, he's going to do the big laps now.
Say hello to everybody.
Ciao. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do a little mic sound check. Got the headphones plugged in because I don't know if they're on or not. I don't know if they're charged or not. Kind of rolled into this one secondhand. I'm still waiting for the onboard video to finish uploading. So, sweet. Good evening. Loud and clear. Awesome. All right, so tonight we're going to have another go with the onboard stories. And I was going to start with something from the past, which was when I raced at, oh no, I just forgot the name. I raced in Sicily in the middle of this year in the Italian GT at an absolutely crazy track. Why can't I remember it? And the track is crazy. It's got big bumps. It's got walls. It's super fast. Chicanes with tire walls like that. If you miss the chicane, you drive into a tire wall. Pretty insane. But instead, I thought, why not, instead of doing that, why not go through what I just did this past weekend, which was the ELMS round, the final ELMS round, where we raced in Portimao in the Ferrari GTE. You guys always ask me about the GTE, and I have something from the paid practice session, which I can show you. I can't show you stuff from qualifying. I can't show you stuff from the race because they make us take the cameras out of the cars. We don't own that footage, etc. But for a private test, it's our footage. So we're going to go through that once it's finished uploading. Summary of the season quickly, which I'll cover again while I'm explaining the video. It's not a very long video, so at the end of it we'll go to some gaming, I promise. Started the season in Barcelona. We were fighting for second place. Got a puncture, ended up finishing third. Went to, I think, Red Bull Ring. We were fighting for the win. Started to rain. We had to do an extra pit stop compared to the other guys, which resulted in us finishing second. But I almost caught the leader in that one. It was damp conditions. I had made the right tire choice, or me, the team. we made the right tire choice, and almost caught the leader. We finished second by 5 seconds. Then we went to Paul Ricard, and we're fighting for the win there as well. And we finished second. And then we went to Monza, and Monza was awesome. Well, actually, it was it was awesome, and it also wasn't, because my co-driver Matt Griffin, his father unfortunately passed away on that weekend, so he had to leave the event on the morning of the practice sessions, which was really sad because he was close to his dad. And in his place, we got Alessandro Pierguidi. I don't know if you guys have been following any form of GT racing. He's almost literally won everything of meaning this year. So he was drafted in. He's probably the top Ferrari factory driver at the moment. And we ended up winning that race. It was a very close battle at the end between myself and Miguel Molina, who's also a factory driver. I had to defend like crazy and fuel save. I think he was also fuel saving. Then there was a safety car period where that took away the fuel saving element, but I was worried because it gave them an advantage because I was struggling a little bit in ultimate pace. So just ran a really, really defensive race, and we managed to cross the line in front of them. So that was our first win of the season. So with those results, we went to Spa, and we were 6 points behind the championship leaders, which was very unlikely because the guys that we were fighting against, they have a full pro lineup, whereas we have a real gentleman in the car, myself as a silver, and Matt as the gold. So our bronze versus their bronze driver, there was just no way to compare. Their bronze driver is more like a professional. He's been upgraded. Absolute legend of a guy. But that was their lineup. So, our expectation going into the season wasn't necessarily that we could actually win the thing. But, when you arrive at the next race and it's 2 races to go and you're 6 points behind, you start to dream, right? So we arrived in Spa. Car was quick, but unfortunately we got taken out by an errant P2, LMP2 car, which first he took out our LMP3, then he took out us. He rejoined the track like a iRacing rookie lobby, just rejoined the track without looking, boom. And Duncan was going through the corner and hit him at that time. No, the bronze driver that I'm speaking about is Rino Mastronardi, who races for Iron Lynx, and he was also my teammate in the Asian Le Mans series. I wish I could show you Asian Le Mans footage, but I'm also not allowed to show any of that onboard stuff. All right, so at that race, we fell out of contention. We dropped to 3rd in the championship, and we arrived here in Portimao with a chance of winning if the Iron Lynx car, which had led the championship from day one, ended up crashing, and we won. If we won the race and they didn't crash or have an engine failure or whatever, they'd be champions. But we still had an opportunity to finish 2nd in the championship. We were 2nd until Spa. And the reason that's important, context for this video, is that only the top 2 in the European Le Mans series, get automatic invitations to race at Le Mans. So if we finished 3rd, we would have never gotten to Le Mans next year unless someone else was selling their entry, which is literally over €1 million, or we went and competed in another championship which classifies you and gives you the chance to win the ticket. So finishing 2nd was important. So we arrived at this race with still a pretty decent target. We forgot about trying to win championships or anything like that. And, whoa. You almost heard that, right? Yeah. Okay, so we arrived, and we're now doing practice, Portimao super grippy racetrack. I'm going to try my best. There we go. Okay, that works. I should probably move that thing away from the AF Corse thing, but whatever. Okay, this is the first time I'm speaking to you guys about a GTE. So in future, if you ever want to know what's the difference between a GT3 and a GTE, I'm probably going to cover it in this video. Okay. Portimao super grippy racetrack. Doesn't matter what tire you use here, the surface generates monstrous amounts of grip. But that being said, a GTE just feels so incredibly good around here. The car rotates. It just does everything you want. It's difficult to lock the brakes because there's so much grip from the surface. The Goodyear tire really responds well to this track surface. So overall, a very cool track. Now, I only had 2 videos. I knew that the other video that I had didn't have me in it because it had only white gloves in it. So we're going to run through a bit of this. I think I drive a little bit at the beginning. Let me just see here. Those are my gloves. Okay. And then I drive again at the end. So let's just see how this goes. Okay. We'll start from the outlap. Let's just talk about the outlap, and I'll talk to you about what I'm thinking. If I remember correctly, I was driving second here. So Duncan had started the session. He's the bronze driver, the gentleman driver, the one who pays for our party. He'd just come in, and I had a little bit of fuel, and I was just going to go out and feel the car. Then Matt was going to come in, do his thing. He's always the one preparing for qualifying, so he gets new tires and so on. And then after that, they usually put me in with those fresh tires because I'm the end stint driver, and they fill up the car with fuel that is relative to the amount of laps the tires have done. They add that fuel for the laps remaining. All right, so in ELMS, all bronze drivers start the race. Well, no, you don't have to. It's just the best way to do it because you want to get your bronze drivers out the way. If there's a safety car, it bunches everyone up. Then you have the pros in the car to fight. If you start your bronze in the second or third hour, there's a safety car, you'll be taken out of the fight. All right. So while on this outlap, we can also do a bit of a sound check, and I'll also tweak performance mode so we don't get any lag. Okay, so just let me know how you're finding the sound. I can hear it in my headphones, so those are clearly working. Can't hear the onboard sound. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to fix that quickly. No sound. That's okay. We're going to figure this one out. I know why. It's because my headphones weren't on at the very beginning. We will get the sound sorted, I promise. Here we go. Oh my god, this is crazy! Okay, that should work. Once I press save, obviously. Nope. Ah, come on. Properties. Yeah. Why is it not working? Okay, wait. Let's pause the video. We're almost at the end of the outlap in any case. Minimize it a little bit. We'll get this right. Fail. Let's move it to game. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's go back a little bit. How's the oh, okay. We want to go full screen, right? There we go. Why did they put that down there? That's such a weird. Level it down. Okay, so it's quite loud compared to the other app I was using. How's about that? That should be better, no? Okay, all right. So starting a flying lap around here, unfortunately, you just will not be able to appreciate how this track just goes down, up. It's like the gradients are insane. The reason I jink there is because there's a car behind me and I'm just letting him know I see you, but I'm not letting you through because this is my first lap. Big topic around here is track limits. Basically anything outside the white line, you get penalized, you get a warning. In practice, you get stop-go penalties of up to 10 minutes. So have to be wary of that. In general though, if you are careful around most of the track, it's easy to stay in the track limits. However, turn 1, not so easy. So I got into this car not knowing how many laps I was going to do. I think I was probably only due to do 5 or 6 laps, because the priority is, again, in practice, get Duncan to do as many laps as he can so he can enjoy himself, he can get comfortable with the car. He's the one that will find the most pace between us. And then also get Matt into the car, because Matt is our gold driver and it's his job to do qualifying. So you want your qualifier to be on it and used to it. I'm the silver guy. I don't get to experience that much driving usually. This session is an outlier. I usually wait for the race before I do most of my driving. Okay, so I think on this next lap I will try and take you through a track guide. So we're now approaching T15 or T16 depending which track map you look at, and the aim here is trying to get that last corner flat out. It's completely blind on the entry. The car literally like almost takes off into the air, and then there's a huge compression at the bottom. In qualifying or on low fuel, it's possible to do flat. Heading down to turn 1, massive dip here, and then it actually comes up a bit as you're braking, which helps with the avoidance of locking. Here it's actually much easier to lock because it's completely flat, and you're combining, which means you're braking and turning. Whenever we talk about combining, which we talk about a lot in a GTE car with no ABS, we talk about the ability to apply brake pressure and turn the steering wheel. If you can't do those two things at once, you'll get locking on the inside tire, and at certain tracks that's pretty common. Through here I used to brake, accelerate and then brake again through 7 and 8, but now just lift through 8 and carry as much speed as I can. Little trick that I learned from my old mentor Claudio Piazzamusso. When you have connecting corners, or if you find yourself braking and accelerating again, try and just carry as much speed as you can through the first sequence of a double apex corner, and then sort of deal with it in the middle and get on the brakes, and you'll find some lap time. I'll cover sector 2 again in a second. This is the main thing that we're struggling with on the weekend, which is lack of traction, but it's not so bad. I mean, we have 3 traction control settings in a GTE and in the new GT3s, and let's see if I try flat here. Yeah, tried flat, but I probably get nailed for track limits. Running wide, yeah, so that's track limits, and they tell me. And I think when you what happens is you have your engineer on the radio. He says to you, your teammate Rivera is almost flat through the final turn. So you're like, okay, well, let me try almost flat. You try almost flat, and you get it almost flat. You're like, maybe I'll try it flat. He tells you on the radio, Rover is now flat through the final turn. You go flat through the final turn, and then he comes on the radio and says, track limits, final turn. It's like, well, yeah, you wanted me to try flat, so I'm trying it flat. In GT, when you brake, are you fully pressing and then trail braking, or is it more light pressure based on the corner? In a GTE, it depends. Like here, you don't slam the brake because you'll lock the inside tire. So you're on the bumps, everything's moving around, and you're like, you obviously need to stop, so you're pressing a reasonable amount, but not like in a GT3. A GT3, you stamp the brake as hard as you can. This track is epic. When you go up that crest there, you can't see anything until you've already started braking. It's completely blind. Same here. So yeah, it's just, this track is amazing. This next right hand is downhill, blind apex. You're braking and you don't actually see the apex. You want to get onto that curve as soon as you can. And when you get on the power here, what's unique to the GTE because of the torque is it rotates around across the rear. So do I get track limits again here? No. Yeah, this track would have to be an ACC. Well, the only way we get into ACC is if someone, or if the SRO came and raced here, but they don't. Back down the hill, boom, brake as hard and as late as we can. Funnily enough though, in the race, I was using third gear through there. I prefer, driving a GTE is one of the best experiences as a racing driver. Of course, you can race prototypes and stuff, but if you're a GT driver, this to me ranks with the satisfaction that I had when I, for some reason, got to test a DTM car one day. This thing feels just as awesome to drive. It rotates so well. When you touch the brakes, the way the car just like, boop, it just responds. Like I can't explain. There was like, I was trying a different technique where as I turned in, I just tapped the brakes slightly to try and get the rear to step out so I could straighten the approach for T8. I don't think it was faster. In the race, I was actually just coming off the throttle. Here, it's very easy to run wide. There's actually massive bumps on the exit, as it kind of illustrates there. Hey, Jimmer, what's happening, bro? Thanks for tuning in. I managed to test one day out of nowhere in 2015. I tested a Mercedes DTM car. I think it was Mara Engel's car, actually. I think it was. And it was at Hockenheim. And I was like, well, I'm never going to get to experience a car that's as cool as that, but these cars really are up there with that. Your neck around here, it's the only track on a calendar where you think to yourself, I wish I trained my neck in a GT car. And maybe around longer tracks like Spa, you'd feel that similar sensation after a very long race. But even here in a short practice session, because of the grip of the surface, you tend to experience a bit of a sore neck. So yeah, this corner here, T4, is very cool. Also completely blind, and when you're going over the hill, you feel like you're going to run out of road and understeer off the track. But in actual fact, as you go up over the crest, the car sort of lifts a little bit and rotates on its own and lands pretty straight. Yeah, Jim, congrats on that result, my man. I saw that I think you won your last race, which is pretty insane. I know that feeling, so congratulations, dude. I know it's also your dream as well to be a racing driver, so I fully appreciate and know where you're coming from, my man. Hope to see you in GTs one day. Any possibilities there? How's the racing though in GTs? Enough space and good places to overtake? Yeah. You actually have pretty cool racing in these cars, and the satisfaction of pulling off an overtaking maneuver is much better because you can actually lock up and run wide if you get it wrong. And especially depends on the track. Like this track, it's much less easy to. It's easier not to lock up, but a track like Monza or Barcelona, to lock the brakes is very easy in these cars, especially when you are combining steering and braking. So how about a team with Dave Prill, Broadbent and James Baldwin? Yeah, Baldwin can do the qualifying, that's for sure. I prefer the GTE. Water. So I think now I'm just waiting to be called in. This is lap 7, which is abnormal. This is fuel saving now. After driving the GTE and feeling how satisfying, yeah, this is definitely an in-lap. I think I remember I overtake the Perodo car. This car I'm about to pass. Oh, I think I passed him the next lap, I think. The car that's in front of me, there he is there. I know I'm pointing at something that you can't see, but anyway. That's the car that's second in the championship. They're our teammate from AF Corse. And they are currently leading the World Endurance Championship. They won Le Mans. Emmanuel Collard, Francois Perodo, Alessio Rivera. I mean, brilliant young driver. Yeah, this track is just full of blind corners, and usually the trick with a track with blind corners is to have different reference points. Like So instead of looking at the traditional apex, you look at something that comes before the apex, and you're like, okay, when I see that thing, the apex is coming. But at certain corners around this track, I'll point one out in a second, there are no reference points. So you go lot and field. Here it's easy. You got these long white stripes on the left side. So it's very easy to spot those as reference points and use them. Okay, I'm going to brake at the second last one as well. Same here. I'm going to brake 20 meters before the white line on the left hand side. But the next hairpin we're going to, the reference points are so far away. All I can tell you is that on the right hand side is a 50 board. So that's where I do the lift and coast. And then somewhere after the 50 board, you brake. The cool thing about that corner is as you go down into the corner, I wouldn't say it banks, but it gives you the shape of the track at the bottom of that corner gives you so many options in terms of if you miss the apex, you can actually gain lap time because you roll a bit more speed. Okay, this is definitely the end lap, I think. Up over the crest. I think I'm preparing now to box to give the car over to Matt. Yeah, I'll speak about the GT3 versus GTE difference in a moment. I won't show you Matt's onboard because I didn't ask him permission. Matt Griffin, by the way. Matt Griffin is the one who got me into this car. So I'll tell you guys how I ended up racing for AF Corse. Let's see, is this a box lap? Yes it is, I'm holding it tight. If you guys see the crash here in the ELMS, holy crap. Alright, so boxing now, preparing for Matt, loosening the belts. Since 2016, at the beginning of every year, I would cold email Amato Ferrari and say, hey Amato, hey Mr. AF in AF Corse. Can I... I'm a fast bronze or silver, depending on my ranking at the time. Will you please... Is there an opportunity for me to drive in your team? And he would always reply, and this was January, every year I would just email, because what have I got to lose? Ciao David, or dear David always, thank you for the kind email, but we are okay. And I mean, I've raced for Rinaldi, I've raced for Kessel, I've raced for Iron Links, I've raced for Hub Auto, Wochenspiegel, a lot of Ferrari teams. I'm probably forgetting one. But to get into AF Corse is basically like AF Corse runs the factory outfit. They run the two factory GTE Pro cars. They're going to be running the prototype cars. It's a big deal, you know. Or is it? I think Orica? I don't know. Anyway, these guys, they are the factory team. So to race for them is like, it's very difficult to get into the team. And I mean, it wasn't that, you know, they were ignoring my results or anything. Let me move away from that quickly. It's just that they already had enough drivers. I mean, of course, they have more Ferrari drivers in their lineup than any other team. So they didn't need me in the team. Anyway, last year I was racing with Kessel. In the European Le Mans Series, we finished tied for first. And at this race last year, there was a moment where Matt Griffin was behind me in the race, and we had a really good battle, and he couldn't pass me. And somehow he remembered this. And at the beginning of this year, I was meant to do ELMS with Kessel again, and that program got cancelled. And I wasn't going to do any GTE driving. And I'm sitting at a test, I think in Nürburgring or Barcelona. It's absolutely freezing cold. I think it was Nürburgring. And I only had 5 races due to do this season. And I get a message from Matt Griffin. Hey Dave, how you doing? Yeah, all good, man. Just small talk, because we do keep in touch. He's like, so what's your season looking like? And I said, oh no, I'm just doing GT World Challenge Endurance. He said to me, would you like to race with us in ELMS? I was like, well, you know, I've already promised to Rinaldi that I'm going to race with them in the GT World Challenge, and there's a day clash. He's like, yeah, but we're also going to do Le Mans. And boom, I was like, cool, I'm in. I'll find a way to explain it to Rinaldi. And that's, next thing I knew, I was racing for AF Corse. Now, in this particular car, they call it Spirit of Race, but it's just another brand within the team itself. So this is the one year I didn't cold email Amato. I didn't cold email AF Corse because I already was meant to have had a seat with Kessel, and when that slipped away, I was kind of crestfallen, like, oh no, you know, I'm probably not going to race in a GTE again. And out of the blue, not only did I get to compete in the ELMS again, but I got to achieve my dream of racing at Le Mans, and it was because of a 5-lap battle that I had with Matt Griffin last year in this race, and he decided to bring me on board. Now that's not normal in racing. It's not usually a merit-based system. It's usually about connections or whatever. It was the first time that I think I just got a seat out of being fast enough. And instead of like trying to call someone, trying to speak to someone who was a manager, who knew someone in the team, or trying to just, you know, bring a gentleman who had money and who wanted me to go with them. No, none of that. It was just, Matt was like, cool, well, we need a silver driver. Dave's a Quicksilver. Dave, want to come race with us? And boom, it happened. So yeah, that's how I landed up in this car. I can't show you anything from Le Mans because my channel will probably get taken down. I am going to ask if I can show one lap from the private tests on the Sunday. Like, this is the private test as well. And oh, how's that track limit? So there, I went off the track. I knew I was going to get track limits, so I tapped the brakes to see would I get a warning if they see me go off track but slow down. In other words, no time gained. But in this series, if you go off the track, you're off the track. You get a warning. And I think two corners later, David, track limits T1. Even though I went off and didn't gain any time, it doesn't matter. In this series, even if a prototype pushes you wide in the race and you go off track, you get a track limit warning. They're very, very, very strict in ELMS. Okay, now, what's the biggest difference between the GTE and a GT3? Alright, so the key difference is one has ABS, GT3 has ABS, a GTE does not have ABS. A GTE, which if you push the brake pedal too hard, you're going to be locking, and you'll be locking for a mile. Alright, so in a GTE, you've got to be very careful and sensitive with the brake. The nice thing in the GTE is the brake pedal has much more feeling. So in a GT3 car, you push the brake as hard as you possibly can. As hard as you can. Through the floor. Let the purple lights, which are the locking lights, come on. That means ABS is activated. And let the system take care of the braking for you. Now obviously that's up to a point. What happens is you start to learn how to optimize the ABS, but you definitely don't brake under the ABS that a lot of people talk about in iRacing. That we use the ABS and we learn how to use it, but it still requires a lot of brake force when you're in a GT3 car. The pedal is very stiff, very heavy. In a GTE car, the pedal is quite soft and much more easier to modulate, and you can feel the effect of your foot on the brake much more because you're not using brute force. The next difference is that a GTE car has less horsepower. Okay, could have more, has less horsepower, but much more torque than a GT3 car. So here the ratios are much more different compared to a GT3. In some tracks in the GTE we use second gear, whereas in the GT3 we'd use first, because in the GTE it feels like you're breathing through a straw in terms of power, whereas this thing has, it like really punches hard but then runs out of steam at the top. So in these cars here, like accelerating between this left-hander and this next right-hander, you actually get pulled back on your neck. It's a really nice, satisfying feeling. In the GT3 you don't really feel that. You adjust to the power much quicker. The next big difference, the GTEs do run stickier tires. Yeah, I can't share Le Mans footage because of copyright. These cars have much stickier tires, so the car feels much more reactive. But funny enough, they both do very similar lap times. Sometimes the GTE, depends on the track. This track especially can go faster than a GT3, but usually the GT3 is within like half a second to a second. So even though the GT3 feels lazier, it feels less responsive, it does the same lap time. It's just not nearly as fun to drive as a GTE. So that's the key takeaway. Everyone says yes, there's also more aero. Yeah, a little bit, but the GT3 cars actually have much more modern aerodynamics compared to the GTEs. The GTE AM in particular hasn't had a new body kit on it for quite a few years now. You'll see, for example, in a GTE, there's no vents on the fenders above the wheels, whereas it is in GT3s and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there. What about the way you have to set up the car? Well, they feel very different. The only thing that's similar to when you get in these cars is the interior. The diffuser is static. You can't really use the diffuser. You don't get different types of diffusers. In GTE at Le Mans is faster, but not by much. Yeah, BOP is dependent on the series. Here, at the beginning of the season, the Ferrari had superior BOP to the Porsche, and now Porsche in the last two races had superior BOP to the Ferrari. If I get upgraded to gold, I will be without a drive. I won't race anymore because I'm a decent silver, but I'm not a gold. I'm not a gold driver. I will have some really good races. I had a really good race in Nürburgring, and here I had a lot of good pace. But you saw 2 weeks ago, you saw how in Barcelona I struggled. So, you know, a top line gold or platinum driver, they have 19 out of 20 races where they're fighting for wins or the peak, you know. Pierre Guidi, Mauro Engel, the Van Tours, Van der Linde. There's a lot of them who just every week in, week out, are battling for wins. That's not me. I wish it was me, but it's not me. Yeah. And the performance of a GTE, oh, that's what happens when you brake too late. Let's rewind that. So when you go over that crest there, we go over this crest, we go down a hill, like huge compression here. Wow, very cool compression up the hill, neck, saying I have a neck. When you get to this point here, you're looking, can you see my mouse? Yes. You're looking to the left. There's this 100 board here, but I look to the marshal post. But as you come up over the hill, the car unloads. So if you get on the brakes when the car's unloaded up here, you're not going to have any braking. In fact, you're going to lock the tires very easily. Okay, so what you got to try and do is either you got to brake just as you're going up, just before it unloads, you start to brake. Then as you go up over the hill, you release the brake, and when you land, you get on the brake. Or if you try and brake aggressively, what you try and do is when you get up over the crest, as the car is compressing down, reloading, you get on the brakes then, and then sometimes, if you're lucky, the car in the GTE, in the GT3 it's much easier, but in the GTE, if you get that timing perfect, the car just stops, like dead. I didn't get it right this time. Up over the hill, locking, and you couldn't really see it because you weren't looking there, but there was purple lights going on in the rev. Next to the rev counter are these two purple and blue lights. Purple means front locking, rear is blue. So, yeah. Okay, so I don't remember where I was talking about the GTE comparisons, but what I can tell you guys is we had a great race. We finished second in the championship, which means I got an automatic invite to go to Le Mans next year, and that's epic. So at the end of last year, we finished tied for first. We got an invite. And then at the Asian Le Mans this year we finished third. We got an invite, and now in a new team I finished second and got another invite. So next year I will definitely be going to Le Mans again, unless Le Mans doesn't happen. So pretty stoked about that. Oh man, the sign stuck my eye. So that's pretty sick. What's cool is the ELMS, they make really cool trophies. Look at this thing. Let me try and, it's pretty sick. This thing weighs a ton as well, by the way. And I'm surprised they let me on the plane with literally, I mean, this is a knife that's been fashioned as a freaking as a trophy, right? So luckily I'm not a violent person, but sometimes I think to myself, what would a bad man do? Anyway, so yeah, I'm happy about the Le Mans entry. I tried again. You see that? Tried again to go over the crescent brake late, but it wasn't working. Also keep in mind I got race fuel in the car with slightly used tires, so my job here is to just get used to the car with heavy fuel load. I haven't driven any prototypes, no. But having now experienced and really got into GTEs, I would love to experience just once a prototype. For them it must be easy flat through there. I want to see now if I do any lifting and coasting. In a GTE car, that's very important. The fuel tank size is much smaller. It's like 30% smaller compared to a GT3. Yeah, I lift there. So I lift like almost 80 meters before braking. How annoying are the LMPs? It depends on the car, but I mean on the team and driver. But you do eventually get used to it. You know, like the WRT car with Kubica is very aggressive. You know, other cars are not so aggressive. There's a big lift and coast. So I explained this last time with overlays, braking and throttle at the same time. You definitely do not want to do that in GTEs, because you're going to use too much fuel. And then in extreme cases, like they say to me, practice lifting and coasting, because we may box Matt early, and you may have to do an extra long stint where you have to save somewhere. You have to find an extra 2 laps of fuel. So some prototype drivers are dumb aggressive, but most of them are smart aggressive. Kubica is very smart. But you can tell on the radar. Okay, you see those arrows there. These are arrows here. They don't always work, but look, here comes a P2. Boom. That's a good car. That's the United Autosport car. They don't hire idiots, so. Fuel saving? Not in these cars. It's a skill that you learn. I enjoy it when they say, cool, you have to fuel save. Do LMPs have ABS? I don't think so. Well, GTEs, the ones that I race, what's this class called? LMGT E or something. They're only disappearing in 2023, so I got 2 more years of this stuff. This is a private practice, or paid practice. GTEs are going away because they're expensive and not as common as GT3s. No, the ACO is going to use the standard spec GT3s, I think. Doesn't make sense. I've always considered racing in America, but you don't get to choose. teams call you. You don't call teams. So they also have Aston Martin, Jay. I think we're ending. Oh, it's full course yellow. Full course yellow. Is it normal that you use maximum 40% brake pedal? Well, no, don't look at this brake indicator down here. Guys, do not look at that thing. It's not accurate. It depends on the corner. Also, there's no such thing as 100% braking. In real life, we talk about brake force, not brake percentage. Peak brake pressure is, I think in the Ferrari, before you start locking, is maybe 100 bar, but in a GT3 car, you can brake, depending on the type of car, 150 bar. Would I enjoy another GT car? Yeah. But I get to race Ferraris, so there's nothing better than that to me. There won't be factory GT3 cars because there never really has been, even in other series. That's just the way it should be. Prototypes should be for factory cars. You know, LMP1 hypercar stuff. It's very hot inside, but in GTE you have to run aircon, and the cockpit temperature has to match. Sorry, thinks I'm talking to it. The cockpit temperature has to match the outside ambient temperature. It cannot be higher. We do play with that though. We modulate the AC ourselves. If we're like in a fight where we're trying to catch someone, turning off the AC can give you tiny bit of power. So you switch it off on the straights, switch it on when you get to like sector 2 where there's no corners and so on. There was a big crash there between a GTE and a prototype. So yeah, in practice, when you get called in the full course yellow, or if there's a red flag, you just activate full course yellow mode, FCY, and then you go slowly to the pits. I noticed something when Matt was doing the driver change. I almost fell, and I was hoping this wasn't camera, but let's have a lull. Pay attention here. Robin, if you read davidperrell.net/about, you'll see how I got into GT racing. I'm over. Oh shit. This is what happens when you stand near the tires. I'm over there. Whoa! Could have broken my shoulder there. Thank you. I'm stoked you like the iRacing setups. That makes me very happy. All right, so that's the onboard story stuff finished. You're welcome to ask me a couple of questions while I try and see if I can get iRacing to function. What's up next? I was thinking of doing the Ferrari. Oh, Ferrari at Road Atlanta. I think I know that. So. For those of you asking, it's not clear yet what my program is for next year. It's going to be a much smaller program. I'm probably only going to do 5 or 6 races, but one of them will be Le Mans. So, do you play any other games than sim racing? Yes, I play PlayStation a lot, and I did consider not streaming tonight so I could play Ghosts of Tsushima, which I love at the moment. So, yes, I know. Okay, I haven't done iRacing since the last time I streamed iRacing, what, 2 streams ago or something? So 3 weeks ago. Advice for a 15-year-old trying to get into single-seaters. Become an entrepreneur because you need a lot of money. A lot of money. Vodka Diesel, I'm gonna stream every Tuesday when I'm near my rig. So every Tuesday. Once a week is what I can manage to keep my sanity. I didn't stream for almost a year. I think it was 11 months. So I just, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. So yeah. How tricky do you find T12 at Portimao? Well, which one's T12? Because it could be 13 as well. Um, I did cover it. I was talking about how you go over crests and stuff. And yeah, let me just quickly get some laps in. Because I haven't done this in a while. Oh, wait, I need to probably fix the audio. Disconnected. Classic. Okay, there we go. All right, we're going to have to do a sound adjustment here. I'm just going to turn this up just in case. Yes, it's working. Have we got a steering wheel? Yes. Have we got throttle? Yes, it works. So while I'm in iRacing, this is practice, I think. While I'm in iRacing, I just want to let you guys know that little bit of promo. You can now subscribe to our iRacing setups, and you don't have to pay for the first week. So if you want to experience our setups that are available this week, you can do it for free. And if you dig it, then you'll get charged for the following week and from then on. So it's really cool now that you can try this stuff without sort of committing or anything, and just seeing if we're good enough. But so far it looks to be okay. I don't know what 100 kg or bar translates to be honest. It just depends on... I have no idea, because we don't talk in percentages, so... Okay. Let's try do some iRacing. See where we land up. How long is this practice session? It's probably going to be quite long, yeah? Or is it going to be 8 minutes? I did GT World Challenge this year, but it was a terrible season. We had a lot of bad luck. My iRating is terrible, guys, and it's not through lack of trying. I can't get out of the RAM sessions. To be fair, I'm usually the ram, so... Yeah, this track must be amazing to drive in real life. Nürburgring was actually... No, Spa was the low point, that is for sure. Oops. I still got Portimao braking in my mind. Not iRacing braking. Ice racing. Woo! Oopsie. Am I still involved in developing ACC? No. I helped at the very, very beginning. I just gave them a lot of onboard videos, shared my thoughts about the sound and stuff, helped a little bit with some track accuracy issues. But that's about it. Was that 1x? Yes. Oh, that guy's going off. Since then, I haven't really been a contributor. 19. Okay. Miles away. Oh. Honestly, yeah, my teammate sent it in Nürburgring and I think we could have been on the podium there, so frustrating, but at Spa we could have won if, yeah. I'll promise I'll get the 1x's done with in a moment, as soon as I stop reading comments. We've got to get into the low 19s in any case, so don't know how we're going to do that. I don't think anyone has contact with Polyphony. The only people who know about GT7 is probably the CEO of Gran Turismo. Distracted. How's the sound balance, by the way, with iRacing? Cool. Sound is good. For those of you wondering, I'm using a Thrustmaster TGT 2 base and a SF1000 Thrustmaster wheel Ferrari. Thank you, Davide. Grazie. Look at this guy. Whoops. By the way, I'm open to coaching on iRacing. I'm not the best iRacer. I never have been. Session last lap. One session best lap. There we go. Okay. Much better. Who of you have tried Circuit Superstars? It is so fun. That was good. That was much better. You think that could be taken in second gear? Do I think the latest patch ACC announced? Did they announce a patch? What did they announce? The patch will have M4 Super Trofeo. Really? No, that's the patch in February next year. That's the patch in February next year, right? Oh, that was cool. Karting style, except I never made the Apex. I think that the focus is fully on AC2. I think that what we see from now on is the leftovers, a couple of track additions, I hope, and whatever cars are coming next. I have, honest to God, no idea, because I'm no longer contributing or anything. I think even my beta testing stuff has been taken away. Not for any bad reasons at all. I don't have the time. But if I was them, I would be focusing on my next big project. I think it's a shame, because I think that they did with ACC, they have a phenomenal product. But it's dedicated to the GT World Challenge. It's not for prototypes and so on. I'm 99,000% sure that they're going to take what they've learned from ACC, and I'm 1,000,000% sure that AC2 is going to be phenomenal. So, but yeah, if I was them, I'd be focusing on the new product. Woo. Oh, David, use the brakes, man. Not a lot of force feedback is required to simulate a GT3 car. We have power steering. How is that not an off track? We don't measure the torque through the steering wheel, guys, at all. I've asked the Ferrari engineers and they're like, no idea. I get that question a lot, but I don't have an answer. I honestly don't. No idea. All I can tell you is that I've driven some simulator setups that have steering that is ridiculously heavy for no particular reason. The way that I have it calibrated now is whatever the default iRacing settings are for the Thrustmaster with, I'll show you now. I would even say this is a bit too heavy. FB strength is on 16.3, but I'm pretty sure on a DD wheel that means much more. But yeah, it's like, it's light, but when I touch a curb, I've got good feedback, which is very rare in iRacing. So they did make an upgrade at some point. I don't have strong feelings about force feedback. Just don't make it too heavy. That's honestly it. That's my feedback. No, FFP is the best. FFP. Ulti is right. Woo! In the prototypes, you can also adjust the steering, the heaviness in the steering. In LMP2, they have like light, medium, and heavy. I know, for example, Nick Foster, who's a Coach Dave Academy coach and test driver, he likes medium, and his co-drivers liked heavy, and he said heavy was ridiculous in that car. But I'm speaking specifically of GT cars. GT cars have, I mean, in the Ferrari, in the Bentley that I'd raced in 2016 for one race, there was no power steering adjustment or anything like that. Oh, this guy does not know where he's going, and he's gonna... Yeah, so the cars that I've driven, Lamborghini for a test, I don't remember there being a power steering adjustment, and even if there was, it wouldn't be in Newton meters, it would just be, light, medium, heavy, or something like that. But it is very much a sim racers thing to have the heaviest steering possible, and then determining that to be feel, but it's not. It's not. Yes, I've been in real sims. They make me feel nauseous. The ones that move, I've been in some pretty epic ones, and I get car sick. You could say sim sick or something. Also, there's a lot of latency in them, and I just don't really feel them, to be honest. I don't feel it. One day I'm gonna hit that apex. Yeah, if I had a VR headset, ulti, I'll probably never use it, man. I definitely wouldn't do streaming with it, that's for sure. Oh, finally. Holy crap, I thought I was gonna lose my mind there. We can finally do our race. After this race, it's over, gents. Stream ends after this one. A little bit of onboard story action, and then a race. And then we go our separate ways. I go and beat Ghosts of Tsushima. Well, actually, I'm miles away from beating it. That game is so long. Do any of you play it? Does anyone here play Ghosts of Tsushima? Have you ever raced 25 Nürburgring? No. There's a story to that. I will do that story one day. For sure. I don't know how to improve in iRacing. Hey, Jose, how you doing, my man? I didn't see you on the weekend. Well, I saw you. No, I did see you, but you were busy talking to someone, and then I had to go practice. But I hope you're well, man. I'm super sad for you guys about the championship, guys. Rinaldi Racing, Jose, who's just commented, he manages one of the drivers at Rinaldi in the Michelin Le Mans Cup. And they were leading the championship last weekend, final race, with 15 minutes to go. Okay, in a Michelin Cup, you have to do a splash at the end of the race. And the car wouldn't start. The car wouldn't start, and they lost the championship because the car wouldn't start after the pit stop. That's brutal. Brutal. Have I seen Dune? No, I haven't. I haven't. I'm I'm looking forward to it though. Um, Something I have been enjoying though is Invasion, which is on Apple TV. Um, Invasion is very good. Yeah, so the driver that Jose manages, Nico Verone, he was actually commenting earlier. So Nico, I'm sorry if I didn't reply. Um, Honestly, future talent, future superstar. The guy is like unbelievably quick, unbelievably quick. So looking forward to seeing him um, take over the racing world at some point. Okay, qualifying and then 15-minute race. Stoked. Yeah, I also hope that Invasion has had a slow start, but I really like the style. Like, it's so realistic how this aliens stuff is popping up. People don't know what's going on. It's not like some just, you know, spaceship over New York. It's really cool. I dig it. I dig it. Highly recommend. For those of you who want to know, a Ferrari doesn't sound like this. You can go back earlier in the video to the onboard story to see what a Ferrari does actually sound like. But what this does get right is that little chirp of the turbo when you come off. Oh, when you come off the throttle. Okay, let's try and get a lap together without a 1x. I used iRacing to improve my qualifying. Not a big jump, but better than what it used to be in real life. Anyway, let's go. No, off track, shit. Where are we? Oh! Not terrible. I did almost the same lap that I did in practice. Or maybe at... No, 100, 200 slower. Damn it. I always want to go at least go faster in qualifying than I did in practice, as opposed to trying to be on pole. There's a big difference in that mentality. Just try to do your best lap of the weekend. That's how I approach qualifying these days. Okay, so maybe top 5. Skullball, honestly, I can't coach you in iRacing. You just saw, I just bottled it. So, you know, I got off the throttle 3 times on the exit of a corner. 3 times. No good. No good. So now the challenge usually for me is not screwing up the warm-up lap and definitely not crashing at the start. I'm good at that. Missed the apex there, but still carried the speed through the corner. So I got away with that one. This was okay. We were matching our best ever through here. But I think, yeah, I messed up. No, that was all good. Oh yeah, okay, it was 2 times I had to get off the throttle. Cost me on this next straight like 1.5 tenths. There. What an idiot! Didn't get the rotation I was expecting. Did not get the rotation I was expecting. And also had to lift there, which cost. So, top, well, not pole, but definitely, I think second. Front row would have been good. McLaren 720S CDA setup helped me a lot on the PS4. Sweet! Stoked, Tony. Thank you. This is Road Atlanta, Mario. ACC has the best sound of any sim, no question. The only thing I wish they could fix is when you get off the throttle in the Ferrari, I wish there was the flutter and not the snap crackle. Definitely not a bird. How you doing, bro? Jack, what's happening? To be honest, even if we won at Spa, we wouldn't have won in Portimao. We couldn't match the co-driver's combination of iron links is just too strong. They should have won this championship ages ago. Even if we came to Portimao, okay, maybe if we were leading, maybe something could have happened, but I don't think we could have won the championship. It's in some way was okay because I got over the disappointment after Spa as opposed to feeling pain at Portimao, and I really enjoyed Portimao. Had a really cool stint. Almost caught the podium. So, yeah. Okay, to those of you who stuck around, thank you. We now have 15 minutes of racing, and then we're going to go play PlayStation. Well, I'm probably going to have some cereal, and then play PlayStation. He does? I didn't see that. Death coming in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, on the probably gonna crash on the warm-up lap. I've had that so many times recently. Oh, it does look like he has the iron links. No. I think he's just got a green. He's got the old Spirit of Race livery, I think. Yeah, he's got the old... No, that's a black roof, so... You need the dark green with the white bumper. Tell me, with the new no, he's just got a green and white one. The new tire model in this in the GTs, do you have to warm up the tires at all? Like, do you have to weave like this, or does that take away? I already got an off track. Did you see that? Okay, I'm not going to read comments at the moment, just because I'm probably going to drive into someone. I already got a 1x, so there goes the perfect race. This is why I'm stuck in the doldrums. Splits 3 or whatever. Oh, this guy's so fast. I don't know if we can catch him. Come on. Gap is literally every lap 2.8. I think it's the GT3 version that's that we're using here. Must be. Every time. He pulls away in the first sector. I catch him in the middle. Corey, how you doing, my man? Thanks for watching. David. I'm just asking a little bit too much. Relying a little bit too much to do all the work on the exit of the corner rotation when I get on the power. Like a noob. Oh. I don't know if it's a thing in iRacing, but I think I've overheated the front tires. How often do you change your brake bias between when you're balancing tire degradation and fuel saving or fuel weight? Quite a lot. Maybe 3 or 4 times in a stint. I actually caught him a 10th in that one. We lost too much time at the beginning though. How much time is left? 2 laps. It's maybe 3. I've definitely lost the front of this car. Oh. I haven't raced in America in real life, sadly. I'd love to though. Waiting for the call from a team somewhere. But that's unlikely to happen. I'd love to race at Daytona though. Daytona 24, Sebring 12 hour. Both of those I would not complain. because Sebring excites me so much because it's so unique. There's nothing like it. Nothing. It's bumpy, it's fast, it's very difficult. Physical. Okay. Cross the line for P2, my favorite position in the world. Is that the checkered flag? Yes. And that also concludes our stream, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to do another race. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sticking around for the onboard stories. And obviously for this little fun race at the end. It's a perfect opportunity for those of you watching later to compare, having seen so much onboard footage now of a GTE, how different it is to a sim. Now, these sims get as close as they can, but you can just see that there's still a way to go, and I hope that we eventually get there. Alright, that's all. Jump to Facecam. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back online next Tuesday. We'll talk about Pegusa, that's the name of the track. I'll take you through a qualifying lap around there, absolutely mental, and the first few laps of my stint, followed by a very high-speed tire puncture if I have the footage. But until that moment, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Catch you on the next lap.